Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. The second review video for algebra. In the first video, we talked about starting with a pattern, whether it was a picture pattern or a real life pattern, generating some numbers for the pattern, and then generating an algebraic equation and expression for the pattern, and then graphing that. Now what we're going to do in this video is something we've also done before, but just review it, is starting off with a math equation and generating some data from that equation. So the equation I've got in this question is y equals x plus 4, and we're going to create a table of values using that math equation. The table needs to have positive and negative values for x, and we need to use 0 for x as well. We're going to make 5 entries in the table. So here's what we're going to do. We don't know what this is the equation of. It's a pretty just general abstract situation. So we're going to make our table. The left hand is always x. The right hand is y. In this case, we don't know what the values for x and y are representing, so we'll just call them x and y. Now, the question says have positive and negative values for x and 0. So I'm going to use simple numbers. For my negative values, I'll do -2, -1. For it says I have to use 0, so I'll use 0. And I'll use 1 and 2 for my positive values, and that gives me 5 entries for my table. Now to get the y values, I have to use the math equation. So I'm going to solve this math equation by substitution. I'm going to write the math equation down, and I'm going to substitute in the values that I've chosen for x. In this case, I'll start off with x equals -2. Work down the page, y equals -2 plus 4. In this case, the signs are different, 2 negatives, 4 positives, so I will subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2, and since I have more positives, I have 4 positives and 2 negatives, the answer will be +2. So when x is -2, y is +2. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. Write down the equation, y equals x plus 4. And this time I'm going to substitute in -1 for x. So I'll write y equals -1 plus 4. It's 1 negative and 4 positives. The signs are different, so I will subtract. -1 plus 4 is 3. So y equals 3 when x is equal to -1. For the next one, y equals x plus 4. This time I'm going to replace 0 for x, and this is an easy one, right? Y equals 0 plus 4, y equals 4. When x is 0, y is 4. And I can keep going, right? I can probably just continue this pattern because I can see that it's increasing by 1 every time. So the next one will be x is 1, y is 5, x is 2, y is 6. So the next thing I want to do is graph this. So we should write these values from our table as ordered pairs. So the ordered pairs we have here are x -2, y 2, x -1, y 3, x 0, y 4, x 1, y 5, and x2, y6. And those aren't the only points, those are just the points I've got in my table. So now I'm going to graph this. I'm just going to check out my values. They'll be pretty easy to graph. My x values go up by 1, my y values go up by 1. So let's make a graph that has positive and negative values. Where the x and y axis cross, it's always 0. Then I'll go up by 1s on my x-axis, and I've got to throw in some negatives, right? To the left of 0 will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and then the y values, I'll skip a line and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll throw in some negative values, keeping the same scale, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Okay, check out the points I'm going to graph. The first one is -2 on the x and 2 on the y. So I will go to the left -2 and up 2 on the y right there. So left -2, up +2. That's where I'll put that point. We'll call it -2, 2. My next point is -1, 3. So left 1, up 3 right there. We'll call that -1, 3. The next point I think is 0 on the x, 4 on the y. So there's 0 on the x, up 4 on the y. We'll put a point there. We'll call that 0, 4. I think the next one was 1, 5. 1 on the x, 5 on the y, right there. Call that 1, 5. And then the last one was across 2 on the x and up to 6 on the y right there. Call that 2, 6. And then join those points. Put arrows on the ends. And there's your linear relationship. And this is the graph of y equals x plus 4. That's the type of information you need to know for algebra so far before our next test. You've got a review assignment based on all of this, so hopefully this has helped you with the review assignment. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.